We all just wrestled here in Poland, and what happened after?
Apparently the venue turned into a nightclub.
Hell yeah, it did.
Post-Bulgaria, the boys and I decided to venture to Poland next to train a day with and then wrestle for Primetime Wrestling in Poland. So we went from Sofia to Wrocław, had to jump on a train, almost missed it to get us to a city called Gliwice in time. This is the apartment we stayed in, and I'm going to talk to you here. We have a training seminar, and crazy thing about this super awesome apartment we're staying in is that it's brand new. In fact, the next building right there is being built, and no one's been allowed to move into the building we're in yet. So we are the first people to actually stay in here, and it's pretty sweet. So super cool, super unexpected. There's the buildings under construction. We were lucky enough to have a really great place to stay. In fact, both trips I've taken with this trio, we've actually lucked out and been in a lot of really great places to stay. From Gliwice, we went to Kozlov, the city that the PTW school was in. Really chill little area. The only difficult part is there's not a lot of public trans out toward that area, so you really do have to drive. And this is the PTW building. The place is awesome. There's all those huge posters on the wall. In fact, one or two are people I know from the road, like other places in Europe. This is the match I had with Starboy Nano Lopez, a dude that we had become mutual friends online because he's a Spanish fellow, and I became friends with one of his close buddies when I was in Barcelona training and working with a fellow named Ricky Barcelo. So it was really cool to finally get to meet Nano and mix it up with him. We got to open up the show, which is beautiful. We didn't have a lot of time to actually enjoy Poland before we had to get to the show. So right after we got there, the next day was the event. We had to be there all day. That was pretty sweet. And then it transitioned into like this big after party because the president of the company, a guy named Lukáš, it was his birthday. So that was pretty sweet. The next morning was our training day. This is us outside of our apartment because they forgot to pick us up. But eventually we got to the training session. That puppy right there is Gloria. She's the star of the show. Here's the three of us talking and training, and we try to talk a lot in our seminars because we want to give the guys something on a higher mental level than you can get a lot of other places, because in a lot of places in the world you can figure out physically what to do. After that, we spent a night walking around Gliwice city center. It was a really beautiful place, really chill. The next day, we're on a Flixbus to Krakow. The most picturesque medieval city still remaining in Europe from what I hear. The first cafe we stopped at just happened to be a cat cafe. So Aaron, Jack, and I were all at home on that, and then we got to spend the day walking around Krakow. And what a beautiful, picturesque city it is. You know, it lives up to the hype that everyone gives to it, really. We did have to stop and get food real quick, and they had Uno cards at the table. So right next to all this beautiful architecture and historic medieval buildings, we got to play some Uno while we ate some chicken and noodles. Unfortunately, the day was not very warm, and for most of it, it was kind of gloomy. So it wasn't exactly the most beautiful thing we could have photographed or videoed, but being there in person, it was pretty awe-inspiring. And Krakow, we learned, is the city of the dragon. So we learned that there was a fire-breathing dragon statue that we had to find. And as we ventured through the city from where we got dropped off on the bus stop, it was like, I think, the northernmost part of the city, and we had to walk south. But unfortunately, by the time we found the dragon, there was this terrible rain and windstorm, which pretty much froze us half to death. It was really, really brutal. But we got to the dragon. Unfortunately, we didn't stick around long enough to see it breathe fire. And then once we got back around the corner 15 minutes later, chilled out a little bit, and we were just completely soaked for the rest of the day. We went into a coffee shop to try to dry off and warm up as much as we could for like an hour after that. And then we got back into the city. And then at night, the way everything was lit up in that city center area was just gorgeous. I could have just stayed in there forever. All in all, it ended up being a shorter time to tourist in Poland than we wanted. So I really am looking forward to going back to Poland so I can tourist a little more. Everything I saw in every city we went to was beautiful, right? And this is just to finish it up. We had a really late overnight at Krakow airport. And then when it came to the journey home, KLM Airlines misplaced Aaron Williams, but we found him a couple days later in the U.S.